going to teach you now how to make a nice, beautiful pork pie. Like with any recipe, we need to start off with a little swig of gin. Very nice. Now all I've got is I've got some pork. You can use a joint if you want, but either. But what I try and do is get these are neck joints. These are because you get that layer of fat in them. See that nice layer of fat, and it's like kind of soft fat as well. Whereas sometimes with a joint you can get it's like quite very crispy and have crackling. You want to try and avoid that sort of stuff. But this fat's really soft and it kind of melts into the meat. And then you want some nice kind of streaky bacon. Not too much, just a couple of rations. I've got 2 or 3 rations here. Again, quite fatty. And it seems like a bit nasty because it's fatty, but it does turn out really nice. And then you want salt, pepper, bit of Italian seasoning. I've got some stuffing here, just dried stuffing, and I've added a bit of water to it. And that's it. You just want to keep it simple, really simple. So what I'll do is I want to cut these into really, really fine pieces, like all fine, really, really fine like that. And you need a decent knife to do this really. But just get in and cut them nice and fine. Cut all that up, and I'll see you in a second. Okay, now your stuff's cut really fine. We got your pork there, your bits of fat in, got your bacon, and then you need to whack that into a bowl. You just need to keep it simple. No chucking loads of crap in. And so in there you got your pork, your bacon, you've got some salt as usual, your Italian herbs. Nothing mad, just to your own taste, if anything, really. I think if you're gonna cook it, you half know what you fancy. And I'm a bit of a pepper fan, so I do like a bit of pepper. Just kind of a couple of little, like probably a teaspoon really, if anything. And then really just give that a good mix, and then a really good mix. Nothing super special, just your hands in, enjoy it. And then what I'll do is I'll mix that now, and then put it to one side, and then we'll make the pastry. So now we're gonna try and do the pastry, right? Now the pastry's like, so it's a bit of a shit already. Now it's like a warm water pastry this is. So what I've basically got in there is just 2 cups of plain flour, bit of salt, and then I've got some of the yaki stuff, lard. Now I've got here about 75 grams of lard, and you need to just put it up a little bit random. Just nothing special. And then you need to whack that in 100 millilitres of water, right? On there, warm water, and let it dissolve basically, so it gets warm. That's why it's on the stove, not in the fridge. Right, and then about 60 grams of butter. Break that up. You can actually grate it into the flour, which is probably a better way, but for the purpose of this, I'll just quickly do this. And then you want to sort of get that into your flour, and kind of get like almost like if you was making a crumble, that type of texture in there. And I found that like a kind of race against the lard melting, and that's about enough time for that lard melting, and about the time it takes me to get to the crumble section. Blah 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 blah. And then at this stage you'll be thinking, oh my god, I need more gin, which I do at the moment, so I'm racing against here. But yeah, so you need that in, and then. But I think you already know how to make the pastry. It's sort of really simple, really. But get that in. And I wouldn't worry too much if you've got too much butter in it, or you've got not enough flour. You can always add a little bit. A lot of these recipes on these YouTube and all that sort of stuff, they say you've got to use this, you've got to use that. And I'm like, Jesus, man, is it really that critical? It ain't critical at all. That is shit. So anyway, so yeah, so that's pretty much done now, that is. And it's kind of like sort of almost like it is like the crumble type effect on it, you know. And so there you go. So what I'll do then is Batman's a little bit. My lard's nearly melted, so what I'll do in the meantime, because my lard's nearly melted, because I've done that super fast then, is I'll have a little gin with you. Bear with. We needed that. Maybe another little need of that. But it needs to be sort of. You can actually use a bit of stone flour in it as well, because the stone flour kind of gives you that crisp top of the pork pie, of the pastry. Right, so now my lard's pretty much melted in there. See, and I know he don't look the best, and oh God, lard, but it is the best, to be fair. Don't pour it all in. Just save it to one side and kind of work it around. Don't put your hands in yet, because it's going to be hot. And just work it round with your spatula. And then a little bit more. You will find that it ain't far off the quantities that I've given you to get the dough right. But like I say, you can always add a little bit of flour. To be fair, that's about right. You'll know when it's right, because it kind of binds together. There you go. So what I'm going to do with that now, I'm just going to put a little bit of flour on that. I'm just going to knead it. It'll seem quite soft as well, the flour will. Sorry, the pastry will seem quite soft. But and because we're not using like all bits and dabs in it, you don't need to like go, oh God, we've got to really knead it for ages and ages and ages. But I'll show you something what's important in a minute with that. And give me 2 minutes and I'll have a gin and I'll be right back. Hello, I'm back again. Right now, so you got your pastry, right? You don't need to be too fussy with it. And I think what I tend to do with mine, I'll kind of split it in half. What I've got, because I'm doing two pies. Now I use these little cake tins, and I'll show you why in a minute. But they're great. But what I do, I kind of split it up into like 2/3. So like your half and about 2/3, because the 1/3 will be the lead. And yeah, so we've got the 2 leads there. And then and you've got to kind of work with this while it's wet. While it's warm, because obviously you've got the flexibility of it as he rips his pastry. But one thing, what's quite important on this, try not to have holes in the pastry. So you chuck him into your tin and work him into the tin. Try and get him down. Be kind of gentle if you can. But don't worry if you make an hole in it. You can, say if I was making an hole in it, I can always chuck a little bit of pastry in it there. So you kind of, and try and get it flat around the edge. Like that. Just, you know, kind of be a bit forceful with it. What I'll do one, and then I'll show you what I mean with it. So I'll get the meat back. Now this, I think, is the important bit. So take an handful of the meat and kind of hold it to your thing. A bit more. Because what you want to try and achieve is to keep a gap around the outside of the meat, but importantly you want to keep your meat flat on the bottom, because the way it cooks for some reason. So I know that by looking at that I need just a little bit more there, and then get it into a bit of a ball and chuck it in like that. Now see there, I've got a bit of a gap around the outside, so you know then it's just so your jelly can go in afterwards. And then what I'll do then is when I've got loads of the pastry on the outside, just dash it off. Like I say, you ain't got to be fussy with it. And then with that, the other third of that there, put him on top like that. And then you ain't really got to be elegant with it, you know, take away, oh fancy and everything. What I do is just fold it in like that. And I don't even use egg wash either at this stage, because I think you don't need to, because it's warm and it binds together, you know. And just fold it in, just don't be scared. It seems all messy and stuff, but I think that's the good thing about a pork pie. And that's it, as long as it's all folded in nice and tight like that. I don't know, it looks messy, but one important thing now I think at this stage is get yourself obviously a good hole in the middle there, and maybe a couple on the ends where you know that it's to loose the steam out, but also that'll become apparent when you put the jelly in. So give me 2 minutes, I'll knock this other one. And okay, so now I've done the other pie. Now I know they don't really look beautiful or pretty and stuff like that, but trust me, that'll be fabulous. So all I've done, usual, a bit of egg wash, and at this stage we're just going to brush a little bit on, chuck it all over, just whatever. Just gives you that bit of a golden thing, doesn't it? Now, this is the thing that now, because we've done them like that, I'm going to put these in the oven for about 20 minutes, on 20-25 minutes, on about gas mark 5, whatever that is on your electric ovens, I don't know. And what I'll do, I'll put them in for 20-25 minutes and I'll come back to you, and but you'll see why in a minute. Yeah, okay, we're on to the next phase. Right now, they've been in the oven for about 20-25 minutes, on about 5. And I've had a couple of gins, and I think it's about time we took a little bit of a moment to pause and think how wonderful alcohol is in general. I drink gin, and it's a magical thing, and you can start cooking sober, but halfway through you can experience what it's like to be, you could be anything with gin. So yeah, a little bit of a toast to gin. Anyway, right, so the next bit now, this is what I think is the important bit. So what we did, we put it into these here, and because it's warm water pastry, it's really soft, right? So you can't really do anything with it unless you put it in the fridge, and then you can't really mould it together and all that sort of stuff. So what I do, I'm not sure whether anybody else does it, but this is what I do. So I get it into these tins, and I put it onto a glass like that, and then open him up, and then obviously that'll drop there, and then not really the time to be like doing all sort of Gordon Ramsay and sort of, well, what we've got to do this sort of stuff. Get your egg wash, chuck it on. Sorry, I missed out the vital part then, because what it does, it stiffens up the pastry, so you can work with it, you can move it about, but you need to get your glaze all round it. It's not like mega important, but you know what, when it cooks, it's all golden, which you'll see in a minute. It just gets it to a nice stage really, and You need to be a little bit gentle when you're doing it. Get it off there. What I'll do, I'll get these off here, put them onto the tray, and then I'll come back to you before you go. I'll get them onto the tray, and then we'll put them into the oven for about, I don't know, another half hour. Another half hour should do it. Just keep your eye on it, it should be fine. So, welcome back. So you've had the pies in the oven for about 25 minutes. And I think that's ample time to have plenty of gins. I don't know about you, but I'll have plenty of gin. In fact, not enough gin. Was it the gin I went to this morning, or was it the gin? Anyway, so I've got the pies out the oven. They're still red hot, and I've just mixed 100 millilitres of water with a chicken, a vegetable stock. I've used like a stock cube, but I think you can use anything. But this is the most important thing. This is veggie gel. Now you can boil pig trotters all day and then get a bit of that and all that sort of stuff, but it's so simple, that. Little sachets, and then what I do then, put it in the stock when it's warm. Everything's got to be warm, because these things, they'll solidify at room temperature, and so we chuck that in, and you get a little baby whisk, and then get a good whisk. So yeah, so the important thing is everything's warm. But whoa, pork pies, vicious, right? But so that's going off a little bit. I'll grab a pencil or anything you can grab, and I made little holes. This probably ain't the right way. Probably all the fancy chefs will tell you different ways. And what you want to do is put there, you'll pour it in. For me, it don't work. For you, it might not work. But oh yeah, got the apron by the way. More gin equals more apron. So what I do, put little holes in like that. Because remember those little gaps we left around the meat, around the pastry? This is where it becomes important. So pick that up, that little fella, and then you pour. Don't be scared of it. Into the holes. It will soak in a little bit. So you move on to all your little holes and let them soak in. And that now is going round and round the meat, obviously. And it will soak in, but this is where it's important to keep everything warm. Get your jelly in. And do you remember saying about keeping the pastry so there's no holes in it and all that sort of stuff? Because what happens then? It starts to leak out at this stage, and that's what you don't want. And you can almost see with your stock and your veggie gel, it's almost starting to solidify a little bit. And just don't be frightened of it. And then what you want to do then, don't be tempted to take them off that, because that's warm. So pretty much leave them on that overnight, cover them over, put them on the side, and the more you go on, the more drunker you'll get, and you'll get drunker, I won't get drunker, because I constantly stay sober and all keeping my head together. And a slightly different thing I do, a little bit of pepper, and chuck that over, only a little bit. You can almost use sage and onion stuffing. Sprinkle that over the top as well, and if you wanted to. But there you go. And there you go. In the morning, tomorrow morning, you'll have the perfect pork pie, and you'll love me forever. There you go.